that was good times, man. And just and throwing out the respect. Jody just passed away, and it's like Orndorff just passed away, and it's like, but those were definitely some memorable times, man, down there, and and Hardbody's in jail for life. So,
so you got any good Hardbody story you want to tell us?
Dude, the only one I'm telling you, man, the only one the only one that really stands out. And I don't know if you were that day. That day was like when the camera guy was down there filming. Yeah. And like they've been down there filming all day, and like Hardbody clotheslined the guy, like legit shoot.
Oh yeah, right? I do remember that, but I wasn't there. I don't think.
And literally about fucking knocked the dude out. Pretty much almost knocked the guy out, and we just all like looked around and like we got out of the ring because he like did the shoot clothesline on the kid, right?
Yeah, he was trying to get stiff.
Actually, that dude went to the hospital. Like
did he really?
But we all just scattered out of the ring, and they kind of wanted to know, like, who did it. But one thing about Hardbody, man, was like you couldn't blow that dude up, man. He was a shit talker, but you couldn't blow him up. He had some cardio, man.
And he was a hell of a worker. He just couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Nah, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. And then like I remember, dude, I could remember certain things like being at shows, and he would show up with like 10 ladies that I guess which were the ladies he all got in trouble for was he'd show up with like 10 ladies, and he showed up like with this Amazon girl one time that had these jacked up teeth, and he's like, oh, this is going to be the next China. I'm like, okay, because it looked like a tsunami had caught her mouth. I'm like, but you got to admit, like he had all those girls working hard for him, man. Like
he had them all brainwashed.
Dude, I don't get that. Like I ain't got it like that. Like I couldn't do that.
No, like one of the first times I met Hardbody, he's telling me he took me up to the like Kroger or whatever. He goes, "This is my wife," and then I said, "I thought I just met your wife." Right. Like there was a blonde in the car,
right?
And I thought he said that was his wife, and I'm like,
he had the one girl I do remember. She was actually fairly attractive black girl. I think was his legit shoot wife.
Oh, that was a cute little kind of chubby girl.
What's her name, man? I used to remember her name, but she was legit shoot cute.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her, and she was too nice to be with Hardbody.
Dude, everybody was too nice to be with Hardbody.
That's true. That's true.
So well, it's the same thing with there's the two things I got big heat for was, and I still, and maybe I owe him an apology, which is Jericho. But like there's two things I got major heat for. Well, there's actually three, but the one thing is that we first were in the WWE. Like I was sitting at catering, and I got up to leave. And I guess Jericho sat down behind me.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, what the fuck is this all about, kid?
Fucking Raven came up to me and was like, hey man, you got major heat with Jericho. I was like, I haven't seen Jericho. How can I have heat with him? He goes, yeah, you dissed him in catering. I'm like, once again, I haven't seen Jericho. What the fuck? I didn't see him sit down. Yeah. So that's been like, you know how it is back. It's been like fucking hour and a half trying to find him, motherfucker. And I finally find him. I'm like, hey man, I got heat with you, I guess. I said, I never saw you. I never saw you. I haven't even saw you. I never saw you sit down. He goes, and Jericho goes, hey man, you got to say hey everybody. You got to shake everybody's hand. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, I never saw you. Like I'm telling you, I never saw you. And he's like, yeah. You got to be professional. And I'm like, whatever. So then I was like, whatever. So then the next time was I was like, it was at Phillips, and I was like, I'm saying hey to everybody. I mean, guy screwing.
Was that the day Elix got in a wreck on the way down there? Remember, he was following us and he got in a wreck.
Yeah. We looked in the rearview mirror. He wasn't there.
Yeah. We were like, where the hell did he go?
He was here in that time because I remember, and that's I think that's when they got rid of Buff that day. But I remember I was saying hey to fucking everybody, dude. I mean, like, I was shaking everybody's hand, dude. Like
production people.
No social distancing going on there with me. So sitting there, same thing. I'm sitting there, and the only person I haven't said anything to is Triple H and Vince McMahon, and like so. But they're at a table in a very deep conversation.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like,
you want to go over and fuck with them.
I'm like, okay, wait till Triple H gets up. Wait till the Triple H, and then we're watching the TV because WWE wants you to watch all the matches. Mm-hmm. Watching TV. I keep looking, and I look, and he's gone. I'm like shit, like this, and I kind of look. I'm like, no joke. I'm looking. I'm like, and then there's this tap on my shoulder, and he's in his crutches. It's when he tore his fucking.
Yeah. I remember that.
And he hobbles over. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Triple H," and I remember shaking his hand, thinking to myself, "Hey, I'm fucked." I didn't think anything about it. 2 months later, they were sending me up to Connecticut to they wanted me to do some like color commentary, try out for color commentary.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because JR was like, I think you'd be a good color commentary, whatever. But and that's the other thing too, the whole fucking meeting JR thing. And the first thing he says to me is like,
you got heat with Triple H?
No, he's like, well, it's a different story, but just real quick, the first time at the Ritz-Carlton, we had to go meet JR.
Yeah, that was horseshit that day.
And the first thing he said to me is like, hey, he goes, I swear to God on my kids. He goes, hey Mike, listen, we know you're good friends with Kevin Nash. We're going to go ahead and wipe that slate clean. You got a clean slate here. I'm like, the fuck? I mean, not even a hello or anything. Yeah. But getting back, so 2 months later, we're getting picked up at I'm getting picked up at the airport in limo, and I go to get in limo, and fucking Raven's there. And he's like, oh, Jesus, kid.
So Raven's always a bringer of bad news to Mike Sanders.
I get in the limo, and Raven's like, bro, dude, you got major heat with Triple H. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like dissing him in catering. I'm like, because it went all the way through the fucking pocket.
Holy shit.
So
I don't remember that.
Calling fucking Nash. I remember I called Nash on the way up to the Titan Towers or whatever, and I was like, "Hey man," he's like, "I'll call Triple H," and he called me back and he says, "No, you don't have heat with Triple H." But for Raven to get in the fucking limo and say that to me, like he knew, like it must have went through the locker rooms. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like and that's like that's the bad taste about that business that sticks in my fucking just like that.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
That whole shake your hand real lightly, brother. You got to speak. I mean, dude, if I don't fucking see you, I don't fucking see you. Like I think that perception of WCW going to WWE were a bunch of dicks, and we were attitudes and all that, and they were going to teach us all a lesson. I just was like, like kind of like fucking uncle, man. Like I wished. Nobody ever pulls you, in my opinion. Okay, and maybe because the top guys are always trying to protect themselves, and maybe you're supposed to know how to fucking act. Like I didn't grow up in the WWF or the WWE, guidelines and genre. We were
right.
We were at right. So it's like it would have been nice to have a heads up about like this is how we do business. Yeah. Always wear a nice suit. Dude, I showed up to up there at it was in Ohio. It was about in the Royal Rumble. I'm not really sure. Showed up to do some promo stuff, and dude, I don't know, Hawaiian flowery shirt, khaki shorts, and my toenails were painted by my daughter. Flip flop.
Jesus.
And nobody ever says, look, nobody says, hey man, you come up here, just dress nice, have a suit. Nobody, because I know Russ Haas and all those guys. I was like, why the fuck is so dressed up for? I'm like, y'all got on ties. They're going to a funeral, But we come from a, I hate to say it, but like a clowning, ribbing, bullshit, whatever. But I hated it because.
Well, now WCW, we didn't have a dress code, but remember they wanted us to wear like a nice shirt, but we could wear jeans, but they didn't want to wear like no workout clothes.
They did.
Well, I remember somebody saying something to me one time.
But my point being is that even in WCW, I got to say this, even in WCW, man, like true story, man. You know how me and Jindrak used to rib about, we'd go in the locker room, we talk about what it was when we broke, what it was like when we broke into business back in '98.
And this was '99.
And I remember, dude, I don't know, I think we were right before we were getting ready to go over to Australia. And then I had that little run in with Ron and Don Harris, which I found out later to be a joke, but didn't really take it as a joke. I had to get Sean O'Hare to go square that away. Anyway,
that's a good guy to have in your corner.
Like an O'Hare, dude. I'm gonna tell you, I was with Sean. I didn't worry about nothing. But actually, Goldberg pulls me aside. He's like, "Hey, man, look." He goes, "You're in a sweet spot." He goes, "You're getting a lot of heat with these old timer guys. You're getting heat just because of the whole joking and all that, the whole jokey shit." And Goldberg did pull me aside. He goes, I would just recommend, and he was cool. He wasn't being a dick. He was like, you need to tone it back, man, because you're getting a lot of heat, man. Dude, this is a crazy conversation. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. When we were in Australia, I don't know who was in the room next to me, right? But I was talking a bunch of shit on the phone. I'd probably been to my wife at the time. I don't know. was talking a bunch of shit. I remember I was on the phone. I was talking a bunch of shit, and I don't even remember what I was saying. And after I got off the phone, it's a true story. I got off the phone. I get a phone call to my room from Terry Taylor. Says, "Hey man, can you come down and meet me in the?" He was upstairs in this kind of atrium writing the show, and I'll go up there. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Bro," let me tell you something. Something you need to know right now. The walls in this hotel are paper thin. And I think it was, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but I know the guy, they goes, so-and-so called me and said something, you were talking a bunch of shit about something. And I was like, I was trying to think, because I was drunk on that tour. I was like, I don't remember, but that's just shit like that, man. Like whoever was in the room next to me called Terry Taylor. He was like, hey, you need to put Mike Sanders in check. He's talking about shit. And honestly, I think it was about, to be honest, I think it was about Booker T or something. Because I remember Booker T's name. And I love Booker T. Like I have nothing to say. He was fucking always just super cool, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know what was going on, man. That's just so I literally, like every time I would turn a corner, I was like, hey, there's heat. Hey, heat. Oh, hey, there's more heat. You know. So when I got there, man, like and listen, I don't take anything personal, because I look at the talent that remained in the WWE after we all left, and like think about it. From who really, you know, except for a few top guys, you know, guys like Chavo and Shane, you know, they were there for a you know, lengthy period of time. But most of the people, man, they went especially the newer talent, man, they fucking went to the wayside, bro.
Yeah. There's
one thing to stick out. Did I tell you about me driving? I was driving, had my headphones in. I was coming back from OVW. I was going back. I was on that long stretch of road, and I'm fucking flying, dude. And I'm talking to Nash. We're just chatting it up, and we're like, yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just blah, 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 blah. And I go, Jesus Christ, dude, I wish this fucking cop with his lights on would go around. And Nash goes, how long has he been there? It's like, it's been for a while, you know? And he's like, you think maybe he's wanting you to pull over? I was like, I look down, I'm doing 84 miles an hour, right?
You're like, fuck this shit. He's doing a job for me. I ain't stopping.
I'm doing 84 miles an hour. Like, so I pull over, and the guy comes up to the car, you know, and I'm like, he's like, so, you know, hurry to get somewhere? I was like, well, you know, we had a late night down there in Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, of course.
And I was trying to get back to Cincinnati. He goes,
you had your 8x10 on the seat with you?
I didn't, but this was crazy, dude. He goes, you know, you were doing 84, and like I was actually, whatever it was 20 miles over speed limit.
It's probably 55 there.
Well, it was 20 miles over speed limit. He goes, that's reckless driving. He goes, but I'm going to let you slide. He goes, I'm just going to give you the no seatbelt fine. I was like, oh, cool. You know how much that no seatbelt fine was?
Yeah, it was like probably $300.
$325.
Yeah, I've had one of those back in the day.
Like, yeah. Then I got back on the phone with Nash. I was like, yeah, I just got a no seatbelt fine ticket. He's like, yeah, I thought that guy might have been. But that was that. And then like certain things, man, when I was you know, when I was doing some of the writing, I remember Cornette going off on me one time because I walked in there and he's like, so what are you doing at the end of the show? I was like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, they're out. He's like, you got anything planned after that? And I was like, no. He's like, okay. And this is when he taught me. This is the way he taught me. They went home 2 minutes early.
Oh shit.
So he looks at me. I was like, I'm sitting there, and you know, Danny Davis is right there, and I'm sitting right there, and I'm like, all right, man, good, thank, clean finish. He's like, so what are you gonna do now? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, God damn it, Sanders, we got fucking 2 minutes of TV time. And he's like, Steve Brantley, hit the ring. So and so, hit the ring. So and so, hit the ring. And I'm like, and then he got my shit afterwards. He's like, look, man. He's like, you always got to have a backup, because either they go too long or they're too short. You've got to fill that time in. And I learned a lot about like putting the show together. Yeah. Now, to the point, I don't know if I told you this, to the point to where I had gotten a writer's packet from Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that, yeah.
And then, you know, I told you, this is my luck, man. I get the writer's packet, wanted to write some ideas for whatever SmackDown or whatever it was. And I remember the same day, like the day it came in the mail or the day after it came in the mail or something, like I was talking to Nash on the phone. He's like, I was like, hey, I got this writer's packet. He's like, throw it away, kid. Russo's back. You're getting called up. I'm like, fucking trash can. I'm like, shit, sure enough, I get called up. You know.
So you threw it away, actually?
Oh yeah. He goes, throw it away. He goes, you can write in 10 years when you're right when you're done when you run. When you're done with your run. Okay. And I seriously, I threw the rider's packet away, man. And sure enough, I got called up. But then what happened was when I got called up with Russo, that was the whole Paul Heyman deal. I got a bunch of heat with Heyman because of Nash and all this shit. But anyway, I get called up, and Russo was in the company maybe, I think, a total of about 52 hours.
Yeah, he wasn't there that long, was he?
No. So long story short about that, man, is that when I got my release, and I was talking to Johnny about why I got my release, because I'd already been told why I got my release. I was told by, I'd say it, Dr. Tom Pritchard, because his friend was Michael Hayes, and the meeting when they were getting rid of people is that my association with Kevin Nash. I wasn't $1 million guy, and I shouldn't even be acting like $1 million guy. I need to be in the locker room with everybody else and, you know, shaking everybody's hand and all that shit. And I asked Johnny Ace about it. He's like, no, just creative doesn't have anything for you at this time. I was like, okay. And I got ready to walk out the door, and the last thing he said to me was, now here's the funny part about that too. I got ready to walk out the door, and he said, Mike, why didn't you ever send that rider's packet back into Stephanie's office? And I knew right then, like, that was a big deal. Like, I just, you know, I was stupid back then, man. I just wasn't even thinking. And I said, I don't know, man. Like, I couldn't even tell you why I didn't do that. I said, let me ask you a question though. Because you're releasing me 6 days after my second year just kicked in. Am I going to get paid on that for what it was, 90 days or something?
90 days, yeah.
Am I getting paid? Because I got a pretty good pay increase. I was like, am I getting paid? He's like, I don't know. I have to check into that. I was like, you check into it. But you released me 6 days after my contract. Yeah. So, you know, kind of wished I knew what I had in my hand. Because I remember Sting telling me one time when we were in Australia during the whole butt-ass naked hoovy, throw it in the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
Hi. Is that Sting said to me one time, he said, hey, man, do you realize that you're on 8 out of 11 segments of a TV show?
Yeah, no shit. Remember, we used to joke about that.
And I was like, okay. Cool, man. He's like, dude, you don't get it. Like, you can't, you know what it cost you to pay for that type of advertising for yourself?
No shit.
And it just didn't fucking register because I was hanging out with Nash, man, and we were rocking and rolling. You never think
it's going to end.
Your actions and what you got going on, you know, is going to, you know, fuck with you. But anyway, so yeah, we're not at some big Ford dealership. We're at like buy here, pay here.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there talking to Rex, and we're sitting there talking to him, and all of a sudden this car pulls up, and this fucking guy gets out, and you know he's
he got the Sonoma coma, man. He's like
barely shaking, and I remember Rex looks at me and goes, "Who's that?" And I go, "That's Buff, baby." I go, "Oh yeah." And you go,
the girl was trying to help him walk to the
right, and you go. Let me tell you something right now. Do not fucking put me in the ring with him tonight. And like that, and I'm like, yeah. So then he goes in there and he gives us the hug. And listen, you gotta love Marcus for Marcus, man. Like I don't have any, like when I'm around, but Marcus is Marcus, man. You know, but we get in there and there's these line of people out the door, and they had brought in these boxes of pizza for us to eat, and we're sitting there, and
we're sitting at like a dinner table, an actual table.
And God bless him, fucking Marcus can't even fucking stand up, barely. And I remember this lady had like a 4-week-old baby, maybe 4 weeks, maybe. I mean, like.
Dude, do you remember us looking at each other?
Like just come from the hospital with this baby, right? And she's like, oh, can you hold him, Buff, for the picture? And you know, he's the fucking pizza's coming out of his mouth. He's like, yeah. And we're like, oh, fuck.
Do you remember?
Yeah, we're around him. We're trying to like, yeah, we're in the picture, fucking holding the baby with him and her. And I'm like, what the fuck does this lady not?
Yeah, we both jumped up at the same time, going, whoa, you don't want to.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, can this lady? Is she high? Can she not tell? And then
he was bad though. I mean, it was
bad. He was, you know. And then I remember we get to the arena, and Rex goes, okay, so I'm going to put you and Sanders with my brother in like a 3-way dance. So like,
well, remember we were supposed to work Bagwell where I was, or one. Remember I told him
originally there was something like that, and you told him like, do not put me in that motherfucking ring with him. I will kill him. But I did say to him, don't worry, he'll probably be fine by showtime. He's like, you think so? I go, probably.
But he really wasn't.
Because I remember we're sitting there and we're in the back, and we're with Rex's brother, and we're talking about our stuff, and he comes trotting over. He comes trotting over, and he's like, hey man, hey, just want to let you know I was in us. Are you guys getting ready to do a little 3-week dance? Well, I was in North Carolina with Flair, and we did a little. So let me tell you, I remember, I think you look at you go, would you shut the fuck up, man? Like, I know we know what the fuck we're doing, Marcus. This is our first fucking dance, okay? Like you like he was like kind of looked at him like, did you kind of was like, just get
hit my fucking music. Bang! If you don't watch my show, you'll be SO.
oh,
You know what that means? Monkey. Thanks, Mike.
All right, buddy.